So we're diving into this story today. An empire of faith, built on billions in donations. But now it's all tangled up with this rumored billion-dollar fortune. We're talking about Daystar Television. Once this shining beacon in Christian broadcasting, and now it's really at the center of a storm.
It really is. And Jonathan Lamb, who is the son of the founders, Marcus and Joni Lamb, he's finally speaking out.
Yeah, and what he's saying.
Yeah.
Wow. Especially about this private family meeting.
Yeah.
He claims he was told, your mother is the voice of God to you. You do not question her.
Astonishing.
It just makes you think, doesn't it? About the power, the money, the inheritance aspect within a network like this.
It's definitely a very complex situation. And our mission here, for you listening, is to really pull out the most important threads from all this.
Right.
We've gone through a lot of material investigative reports, some really candid interviews with Jonathan and his wife Susie, and just tons of public commentary out there.
Much commentary.
Yeah. We want to help you understand how an organization that's, rooted in faith can get so deeply mixed up with questions about huge fortunes and these really intense family dynamics.
And what does it all say about accountability, really?
Exactly. Where does that leave accountability?
Okay, so to really get a handle on what's happening now, we kind of have to rewind, right?
Yeah.
Go back to Daystar's beginnings.
Definitely. Founded by Marcus and Joni Lamb. And it didn't just start small and grow slowly. It really exploded.
Totally. Became one of the largest Christian networks globally, incredibly fast.
We're talking billions in donations over time, reaching people all over the world. It was a huge platform.
Yeah, hosting some of the biggest names in televangelism. But then everything changed when Marcus Lamb passed away.
That was the pivot point. And that's really when all these family tensions, which you kind of got the sense were simmering beneath the surface, they just started boiling over into public view.
Right. So there was a plan for who would take over, wasn't there? A succession plan.
Yes, and on paper, it seemed meticulously clear. Jonathan Lamb wasn't just a potential candidate. He was officially designated as the next leader for Daystar.
Officially?
His appointment as future president, it was apparently documented, promised in writing by his father, Marcus, before he died. So the path seemed set. The expectations were, pretty firmly in place for Jonathan to step up.
Okay, but then, that meeting you mentioned earlier, the leaked audio, that changes things.
It really does. This private family meeting, Jonathan and his sister Susie are there, pastors, board members.
And that's where the pastor says it.
Yeah.
Your mother is the voice of God to you. You do not question her.
That's the quote. And hearing that, especially in that context, what does that even imply?
Well, it sounds like obedience to Joni Lamb, a human leader, is being framed as a divine command, almost above scripture or anything else.
Precisely. It's an incredibly powerful tool for control, right? And sources suggest this wasn't just, a one-off comment. It felt backed up by some serious pressure.
Like what kind of pressure?
Well, things like non-disclosure agreements being pushed, intense pressure from the board, and this sort of unspoken threat hanging in the air. Basically, obey, or you could lose everything. Your position, your future, maybe even family ties.
Wow. Okay, let's shift gears slightly to the money side. This billion-dollar claim keeps popping up everywhere. Popular headline, right?
Yeah, really popular. But the truth about that number is, well, it's murky. Much harder to pin down than the headlines suggest.
So what do we know? Investigators did find links between Joni Lamb and multiple luxury homes, right?
Yes, across several states. The estimated value was put at nearly $12 million for those properties. But that's personal assets linked to her. Daystar itself, the ministry.
That's the tricky part.
Exactly. There's a real lack of public financial transparency. We're not seeing, open books or independently audited financial statements being released publicly.
So that billion-dollar empire idea, it's more of a popular notion than a verified number from public record.
Correct. It's a claim, not necessarily a certified fact based on transparent accounting. But even if it's not a proven billion, the scale of the assets involved is clearly enormous.
And when you have that kind of wealth, combined with that lack of transparency, you can see how this family fight could get so intense.
It suddenly makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? And we also found information indicating executives received pretty hefty salaries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jonathan's salary as vice president in 2022 was described as a big bump. And his sister Susie also got a nice salary increase that same year. So leadership roles clearly came with significant income.
Okay, but despite that potential wealth, Jonathan and Susie are adamant. They keep saying this whole thing is bigger than money for them.
That's their central plan. Their main accusation against the Daystar leadership involves allegations that they tried to silence claims of abuse involving a family member.
Right. They specifically mentioned Pete, a Daystar employee, and alleged an assault against their 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah, a devastating claim. They also say they were intimidated into silence, and that faith itself was kind of weaponized to manipulate their loyalty.
So if you're making claims that serious, what did it cost them personally to actually speak out?
Well, according to Jonathan and Susie, speaking out meant being cut off completely, not just from the network, but from, any potential inheritance or fortune tied to it.
That's huge.
Jonathan said, after months of staying quiet, what finally broke him wasn't ambition for power. He said, it was watching the cost of silence grow too high.
And you mentioned that salary bump in 2022.
Right, but they emphasized that financial comfort only lasted that 1 year. Before that, for many years, Susie said she was basically bringing in less than what you'd make working at a coffee shop.
So even with that temporary higher income, they were still facing real-world financial pressures. Mortgage, bills.
Exactly, a lifestyle likely built around previous and perhaps expected future income. It makes the decision to walk away even more stark.
So it really sounds like they faced this massive choice. And they explicitly said they laid everything on the altar for the truth.
That's the phrasing they used. They suggested that if they had just, gone along with the charade, their words.
Like praising Joni's marriage to Doug Weiss, that seemed to be a sticking point for them.
Yes, that relationship clearly raised questions for them. So if they'd praised the marriage, kept quiet about the allegations concerning Pete, they believed they would have had everything their father had promised regarding Jonathan taking over.
So is it fair to say their departure, in their view, wasn't really about Joni breaking the succession promise?
That's what they argue. Joni apparently told viewers that Jonathan left because she didn't uphold the plan, but they say the real reason was fundamentally different.
What was it then?
They say they simply reached a point where they knew they couldn't keep living a lie. It became unbearable.
Wow.
Susie even described having this profound spiritual unrest, praying constantly for a way out of the Daystar situation, and Jonathan, wrestling with this gut-wrenching choice.
Between what? Financial security, the platform, influence?
Yeah.
A guaranteed future, basically.
Exactly. All of that on one side, and on the other side. Compromising his core beliefs, his values, especially concerning his daughter and his faith. It sounds like it became a deeply personal, spiritual crisis for them.
What struck me watching interviews with them was their demeanor. You'd expect anger, bitterness, maybe.
But that wasn't really there. What came across, almost surprisingly, was this sense of peace. Like they'd made the hard choice. Truth over comfort, integrity over position.
Conviction over convenience.
Well put. But of course, that's their narrative. Daystar has a completely different take.
Naturally. How have they responded officially?
Predictably, Daystar denies everything Jonathan and Susie are claiming. Flat out denial.
And their counter-narrative.
Their official stance portrays Jonathan as power-hungry, motivated by bitterness, and basically twisting the story for his own gain.
Do they offer specific rebuttals?
They do. They counter the abuse allegations by highlighting that the police investigated and closed the case without charges. And they firmly reject any suggestion that donor money was misused.
But you mentioned some potential cracks, despite Daystar saying everything's strong.
Yeah, it's interesting. While Daystar maintains the ministry is thriving, our sources picked up on some signs. Subtle shifts, like some really big-name pastors, apparently, quietly starting to pause their appearances on the network, not making a big fuss, just stepping back.
That's telling. And what about the public? How are people reacting to all this? It seems incredibly divisive.
Oh, completely. The public opinion is all over the map. You've got sharp criticism aimed at the past, at Marcus Lamb for alleged lies and cheating. And Joni gets hit hard too, being called a scorned woman, greedy, even accusations of stealing another woman's husband.
That refers to the Doug Weiss marriage again, right?
Yeah.
Him leaving his wife of 30 years.
Yes, that specific point comes up frequently in critical comments. But then you have the flip side.
People criticizing Jonathan and Susie.
Definitely. Some label them power-hungry and greedy themselves, or call their actions disgusting, immature, even foolish. There are comments suggesting Jonathan just wasn't up to task for leadership anyway.
But there's also strong support for them.
Absolutely. A significant number of comments express admiration for their courage and conviction, believing God is on their side, praying they'll be rewarded for their sincerity and honesty plus integrity. Huge outpouring of support for them, too.
It sounds like people feel very strongly one way or the other. And this issue of money, the salaries, that keeps coming up too.
Constantly. Concerns about hefty salaries in ministry are a recurring theme. People questioning if donations intended for God's work, as they see it, should result in super luxurious lifestyles for leaders rather than just, decent ones.
And cutting through all the specific arguments, there's this underlying sentiment.
Yeah, you see it again and again. It's all about money. That's a common takeaway for many observers, rightly or wrongly.
Which brings us back to this idea of inheritance in a ministry context. It's not straightforward, is it?
Not at all. It's crucial to understand ministries like Daystar aren't passed down like, the family car or a regular private business.
So what is the inheritance then?
It's all tied up in these complex legal and organizational structures. Think nonprofit boards, legal trusts, huge real estate portfolios, intellectual property like the brand itself.
So the real inheritance isn't just a pile of cash.
No, it's fundamentally about control. Control of the brand, control of the pulpit, who gets to speak from it, and the immense power to decide whose voices, whose messages get broadcast to millions of people around the globe.
And Jonathan's claim is that control, that entire future, it was offered to him.
Yes, offered. But according to him, it came with that one huge condition: only if he obeyed, only if he fell in line.
Wow. Okay, so stepping back from the specifics of this family drama, what does this all mean more broadly for donors, for followers, for other faith organizations?
Well, it connects to some really fundamental principles, doesn't it? Faith is supposed to be built on truth, on ideally transparency.
But when that transparency disappears, when loyalty feels like it's being, bought with money or enforced through silence,
it forces a really crucial, often uncomfortable question for every single person who supports an organization like this. Where's is the accountability? Who is watching the watchers?
This clearly goes way beyond just a messy family feud playing out on a public stage.
Absolutely. It's really a stark case study, isn't it? How empires built on spiritual ideals can sometimes start to blur into empires built more on, fortune and control.
And when those two things, faith and fortune, collide like this, when the internal power struggles seem to override any real external accountability,
it seems inevitable that it's the followers, the very people whose faith and donations built the organization in the first place.
Yeah.
They're the ones who ultimately pay the price, whether it's disillusionment, misplaced trust, or misused funds.
So thinking about everything we've unpacked here, it leaves you with a pretty provocative thought, doesn't it?
It really does. What happens when an organization, one founded on spiritual principles, operates without the kind of basic financial transparency we'd normally expect from, say, a secular charity or nonprofit? Does faith actually demand more accountability, not less?
Thanks for watching. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.